Drodzy Państwo, wracamy po przerwie. Czas na trzecią prezentację. Tym razem poproszę przedstawiciela Szwecji, pana Mikaela Svanberga z Europejskiego Sojuszu Związków Strażaków. Bardzo proszę, Mikael.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be here. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity for our European organization to present themselves and what kind of work we have been done and what kind of vision and work we hope that we can do in the future. It's not easy to come up here in the stand to talk about things when everything has been so negative. It's a lot of depression of the talk. It's cancer, this, and it's people who are dying, our friends, our brothers and sisters. So I will try to enlighten up the situation a little bit, because we think that there is a hope for change this situation that we have acknowledged right now. A quick presentation on myself. My name is Mikael Svanberg. I'm living in Stockholm, Sweden. I'm a professional firefighter officer. My special training is chemical hazmat, and also educated in a recently new thing called advanced indication, depending on the situation in the world. We have a lot of antagonistic things happening in our neighborhood. The reason why I'm here today is because I'm the international secretary of European Firefighter Union Alliance, and have made a couple of seminars within the European Parliament. One of those seminars did concern the problem that both Alex Forrest and Tommy Kerr were talking about, and it comes firefighting and the connection with different kind of cancer disease. So far, when we established our European organization, we didn't know what organization were handling the firefighter problems and development of the firefighting within the European community. And of course, no one had the knowledge about this problem on the European level. That's why we were very glad to collaborate with different kind of stakeholders, and they made it possible for us to participate in a seminar just concerning the knowledge that there is a connection between firefighter and cancer. We have, before that, handed out brief information, very light read, so they were supposed to be a little bit prepared before the meeting. We have on our web page, what I will show you later on, put all the researches that has been done in the world is on FOA web page for everybody to instead of trying to find them out, they are there on this web page. Also this kind of brief information that you see right here on this picture. On that seminar, we were inviting from the Association of European Cancer League, was the reason why we were in the European Parliament, because there is an organization called Member Against Cancer who had different kind of meeting, and on those meetings they changed the topics, and the topic on this meeting was cancer amongst firefighters. Some pictures of the meeting. The meeting is like we are doing here today. We tell the story about the problem among firefighters. We tell about all the research that is today out on the web, on the world, that has been made. And we just we also, one thing that was new for us, that we brought a person, actually a person who has survived the cancer, to make his testimony on the situation for him as a professional firefighter. You can see Alex, you can see myself, you can see Anders Cederberg, who was the guy who made his testimony to the politicians, the MEPs. Of course, the cancer issue among the firefighters in Europe are not the only problem. We can see a big challenge about the modern society when it comes to changing the building materials, as both Tommy was talking about and also Alex was talking about. We're talking about high-rise building of woods. We're talking about underground facilities with a lot of people, and also changing of insulation material that's increase and make the things more difficult when it comes to the working environment perspective for a firefighter. And why do I mention this? Well, who are making the rules? Who are making the regulations today that all the European countries are obligated to follow? Well, it's the European Parliament and the European Commission. And as I told you when I begin to talk, who are speaking for the firefighters and the firefighter perspective? There is a big problem among the fire departments and the nations in the European community, and that is to harmonize the vision when it comes to firefighting. We actually are our own enemy. We are our own enemy because we have a problem to share the knowledge between each other, and we have the problem to sometimes to collaborate on what is the right way to work to make the European community more fire safe. So this picture has been shown to the politicians, the people who has been newly elected for 4 years. They're going to be there, make a lot of important decisions, and this time the firefighters of Europe are asking help from them. This is the way. This is the picture are supposed to symbol. And when we started this work in Europe, we need to be very sure what is the goal? Why are we working in Europe? How and what do we want the European Commission and the European Parliament to change? Well, we have summed it up to 3 very important things. The first is EU must acknowledge the connection between firefighting and occupational cancer. If they do that, then they can recommend the member countries to take action to improve the working environment for the firefighters. There is a list on hazard professions. And for example, miners is one of the professions that EU has classified as a hazard profession. Hairdressers is another profession that EU has classified as a dangerous profession. But firefighting are not on that list. And we can ask ourselves how come, and how come that our profession is not on the list. Number 2, EU must immediately establish an EU-founded task force which has the mission to seek a solution to the severe situation. And what do we mean? Well, more projects, because when we do this presentation, a lot of the people that we are talking to say, well, this is the Nordic, the North America way to work. We don't work the same way that they do over in North America or in Australia. But the thing is that we have the same problem. A fire is a fire, whatever it occur in the world, actually. Because as both Alex and Tommy has said before, the building materials are sold today in every places in the world. Number 3, EU must secure the work environment for firefighters by including the measurement of smoke toxicity for construction products. And also that, today you can sell a product The only regulation that is in EU today is the visuality. How long does it take for the smoke not able to penetrate with your vision? That's one measurement. And how long will it take to make the gases that are released from the product flammable? But the toxins of the gases, what kind of substance particles are released when the burn, when the material starts to burn, that is not obligated to put on the label. And I think that there is a right for the builder construction, the people who lives there. They want to know what kind of product is surrounding me. As I told you, it's a very negative perspective for the two former speakers here. Everything is cancer and bad working environment and so on and so on. And the question I ask today is that, can we act right now to do anything to improve the working environment? That's the question that you, as a leader of your organization, leader of the country, that you can ask yourself. And my answer to that is yes. And the first step is to acknowledge the problem. That's why I put the picture of the bird from Australia. Please make it aware of the situation and then implement it depending on your own organization and how can you educate your own firefighters in Poland by using all the information that we are giving you, not just today, but that is open, that we will give you for free. Even if we get legislations and whatever decision you will make, the prevention of getting cancer is the key issue. That's why I just put it out as a word. The Nordic countries, especially my own country, who, thanks to Alex Forrest, was visiting the Vancouver Convention called the Global Alliance. It's an alliance with 15 countries from all over the world who gather in Vancouver 2009. And luckily, I had Alex Forrest as my friend when we have the dinner in the fire station. And he presented himself to me and he started to talk about the cancer issue. And for Sweden, it was a new story. We have never heard about this issue before. After that meeting, we invited Alex to Sweden. We had exactly the same meeting that we have today for all the decision makers in Sweden. And the first reaction was not so good, because the direct answer from the government and the authorities was that, well, they work differently that you do and we do. But after a while, after educating them and showing them different kind of studies and having Alex over not one time, at least 5 or 6 times, they did understand that there is a problem and there is a connection. So they started a project together with the trade unions and our government authority for rescue, and also health ministers authority and the employer organization. That project is called Healthy Firefighter, if I directly translate it from Swedish to English. This is probably something that you don't know about, but this project actually won an award within the European Parliament, European Good Practice Award 2011. And what we have not succeeded on is to share this project to all the EU members. We are trying, but that project won the prize on a very simple way how to improve the working environment when it comes to protect yourself from cancer. It has also been a book written by 2 persons, one fire engineer and a firefighter, who has summed up all this information that I'm briefly talking about now. So, and it's also in English. So after the meeting, if you want to, I can guide you where you can order this book by our Swedish government. The main key factor, as the former speakers are talking about, is the unnecessary risk factors that is out there on the fire station. And again, lack of knowledge, the culture, tradition, old firefighters like me who are not accepting a new way to work, that they are more or less saying that no, we have done this for 20 years and why should we change? The logistical condition. That's meaning, how is the fire station, how are they built today, and how can we renovate them to be more adaptable to protect the firefighters? And also, as we told, behavioral physiology. The whole key issue when we very soon going to talk present this model, it's a circle. The green one is supposed to be where we have a clean area, and then the red area is the contamination area, and everything has to go back to the fire station and be clean again, because we can't leave the dirty gear out in the nature or in the city, because then our economy will be collapsed. So it's a circle from the first call and how you get back to the fire station and get ready again and minimize the contamination risk as much as possible. The healthy firefighter model, are we calling it? And again, it's knowledge. Just to be aware, just to train your firefighters, especially your fire officer, about the problem. That's the first step that you need to do. And also, when you have the knowledge, the fire officers and the people who are responsible of the fire station are also obligated to make sure that they follow the procedure that you decide will be the best. If you have a rule on your fire station, your department, the fire officers are there to make sure that all the firefighters are following the protocols. So that's why the knowledge is the basic thing, and awareness about the situation. And it's very cheap. You can produce this information on the web. You can obligate the firefighters and the fire officers to make part of a kind of web education. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money to put out this information. Routines, that's also one thing. You have to change some of your routines that you are doing it today, and that could be our worst enemy also. What I mean by that is that if you are inside as a firefighter and trying to extinguish an apartment fire, you come out, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you are supposed to take all the clothes off, you are supposed to put them in the plastic bag. Everything is getting more heavy for the firefighter to work. And that's why what I mean with our worst enemy is that we have a problem to convince our own members to protect themselves not to get cancer. And then of course, then you come in as a sheeps and because you sit with the money that you can distribute and maybe buy new things. We have to have tools so that we can reduce the risk. It could be buying plastic gloves when you touch the dirty gear. It could be filter mask, so when you move around and it's not so much smoke, you can wear different kind of filter mask to reduce the risk to get particles in your lungs and so on. The big investment that could be the problem for most of the firefighter department is when you are supposed to get back to the fire station, buying wash machines, changing the ventilation. Maybe you have to seal off a room so you can have pressure ventilation for dirty gears. That could cost money for you, but it's in the end you will gain healthy firefighters and reduce the cancer risk. This picture is a symbol of how it looks before in a Swedish fire station. You can see you have the training gear when you are at the gym. You wash it at the same place where you wash your fire gear. You mixed everything together. The same washing machine that you wash a dirty fire gear, of course, it's not suitable to wash your uniform or anything, because the washing machine will not get 100% clean after you have washed the dirty fire gear. So this is the old picture. Then we have, depending on the budget, how much money you can spend, you can buy a million things to change and improve your working environment. As I told you today, there are a lot of companies who have found out a new business idea, and it is to sell new equipment to us as a fire department. And again, it's important that you and your organization will decide what is best for us. But there is machines now who can wash breathing apparatus, helmets, everything that you are putting out on the accident scene can today be washed more or less 100%. This, not just, as I told you, the Swedish government together with the employers and the trade unions made this book, and now I'm going to show you a video. It's on our web page, but you can also find it on the Swedish Rescue Minister web page, and it's on English and it's on in the language of German. So, but this version is in English. And again, try to understand that this is the video from your own organization. This is from Sweden, totally different maybe, but try to make the vision on how would this instruction video look at your organization.
The firefighters' method for reducing the risk that firefighters are exposed to hazardous substances. The Skellefteå model is based on research and experience. When an alarm occurs, all clothing and equipment are decontaminated and functional after the previous alarm. The vehicle cabin is clean and free from contaminated material. Vehicle placement at the site is important in minimizing contamination. The commander should always use correct safety equipment when the site is being examined. Doors and shutters on vehicles should be closed when not in use. Even with external extinguishing, it is important to have close-fitting clothing, just as it is with indoor extinguishing and BA firefighting. Even personnel who only temporarily are near the fire or who perform tasks at a distance from the fire should have protection for respiration and skin exposures. Choose a suitable filter mask. Personnel involved in follow-up extinguishing, monitoring and/or investigation should have access to respiratory and skin protection, such as close-fitted clothing and a filter mask. The possibility to perform a simple change of clothes following a completed mission is important, since contact with contaminated clothing is then quickly eliminated. Since all protective clothing is individually packed with all accessories, everything can immediately be used again if the necessity should arise on the return trip to the station. All contaminated equipment is encapsulated prior to the return trip. Systematically encapsulating contaminated equipment protects the passenger cabin of the vehicle from hazardous substances. Thus, the cabin of the fire engine is a clean environment. Encapsulated, contaminated materials can be controlled and transported without contaminating the worksite. contaminated hoses should be stored in water-filled covered containers until they can be cleaned. All decontamination takes place in a separate locale from that used for other laundry. The room or rooms used for decontamination should include a ventilation system that generates negative pressure to prevent contaminated air from escaping the room. Turnout jacket and pants should be unpacked and prepared for laundering in a controlled manner. Gloves, helmets and boots can be cleaned in a dishwasher. Drying cabinets are used to keep the process quick and gentle. It is important to wash and shower as soon as possible after spending time in a contaminated environment. Decontaminated equipment is replaced and ready for the next mission.
So, as I told you before you saw the video, it's a very easy way to work. But doing this kind of implementation in your own organization, you can tomorrow reduce the risk to get cancer, and all the work to have it as a legislation or try to do whatever we want to do. You can already now start to reduce the risks for cancer disease. Just briefly go through it again. At the fire station, everything is clean. Even if you saw this video, it's totally different depending on what kind of Swedish fire department you will visit. Some of the fire department in Sweden, they even painted lines on the ground that it said, this is the green area, this is the red area, just to increase the knowledge about if I walk here with my dirty fire gear, I will have a problem when the fire officer sees me. The call comes out. You are sitting in a clean fire truck with clean gear. You don't need to touch a heath camera or touch anything, a radio. That directly after you have touched it, you get soot on your hand. 5 years ago in Sweden, that was normal. I came to work, they had been out for a fire the day before. You were sitting and you were touching the equipment in the fire truck, and you get dirty on the hand. Today that is a history in the majority of the fire departments in Sweden. And I said majority because even if I show this beautiful video, everybody is not following this because we don't have a regional or government controlled fire department. They are ruled by the municipal. You come to the accident scene, the fire. You get contaminated with particles, and again, not all maybe get contaminated, but I'm sure the firefighter will be contaminated. Then you store the material after the fire. You have specially bags or whatever solution, depending on what kind of equipment you have on your truck. You could see here that we had some bags for that fire department, but in my fire station, for example, we have a different kind of system where we store all the dirty equipment, and especially the fire gear. This is the most important thing. If you can see the green spot on the red last thing, that's the place where the fire crew are always sitting in a clean area. Doesn't matter what kind of accident you have been in, a dirty gear will never enter the room in the fire truck. Because you can imagine if you have a system like we have in Sweden, we always are one fire officer, and then we have 4 firefighters, one officer, 1 driver, and 3 firefighters. 5 persons sitting in a closed environment. In the winter time, you put up the heat. You can imagine if we have dirty gear, how much the particle will be released in that small space. So that's the key issue, to have a clean area in the fire truck. Some of the fire station, some of the fire department actually clean the fire truck compartment not just once a time, two times a week, just to make sure that they have a very, very clean area. Then, depending on how you organize your fire department and your fire stations, this is the crucial thing when you arrive back to the fire station. How will you organize to get the dirty gear and make it clean again? And I'm pretty sure that you have a lot of good ideas to make this, depending on how the fire station are architectural drawn. Then you clean it up, even if you don't have this beautiful washing machines and ultra sound cleaning machines that could vibrate the air so all the particles will disappear. Even if you don't have that kind of cleaning machines, you can always do it by hand and make sure that they are clean when they enter the green zone again. So, you remember the circle? This is so easy, and it will not cost a million of euro to implement this as a working method in your organization. That's my last words. Thank you for having me here, and I'm so honored to be invited here to share our knowledge, and I hope that we can do something together. Thank you.